What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about three vehicles that are kind of boring, and I guess you can say they're your average daily vehicle. And one of those cars behind me is a 2004 Toyota Avalon. The reason I bought this car is because my brother, he recently became a mechanic, and I wanted to show him what I do, which is flipping cars. So when I saw this car for sale, I saw that it was only like $1,200, and I said, what the heck, let's see how this goes. I ended up going with my brother to check out this vehicle, and the first thing that I noticed on this car was it was in really bad shape, mechanically I should say. I mean, exterior wise it's not in the best shape either, but it needed a lot of work. It needed a lot of suspension work. A lot of things needed to be done to this car. So I straight up told the guy, we're not paying more than $500 for this car, because it needed suspension work, it needed shocks, it needed new tires, it needed oil because the dipstick was completely empty. So when I noticed that, we turned off the vehicle right away because obviously we didn't want to mess up the engine. And surprisingly, this car right now is running and driving because we have spent about $1,500 in parts alone on this vehicle. We did get a lot of those parts from Advance Auto Parts because they're going out of sale. So a lot of those things we did get pretty cheap. But if it wasn't for Advance Auto Parts, I don't think that this vehicle would be fixed because it wouldn't make sense financially. Yes, it's a Toyota, but is there really a market for this? Am I gonna make money on this car once it's done? Those are the questions that I was asking myself, So it didn't really make sense to fix it, but I did it because I wanted to show my brother that it can be done, and I wanted to show him that, even though it's a Toyota and it has a lot of miles, which I have yet to show you, there is still money to be made in these types of cars. So there is one thing that I have learned working on this car, and that is Toyotas are made really well. Interior plastics are made really well. They just, they thought about things when they came to, building this car. And that's something that I was not familiar working on Infiniti or Nissan. I mean, not to say that they're not made well either, but I feel like Toyota in general was just a little bit better as far as build quality goes. We do have 302,000 miles. There is no check engine light on this vehicle. Turns on right away. Idle smooth. No funny things going on with it. Aftermarket radio. Interior needs a cleaning. Exterior also needs a cleaning, which I will have to do later on. And yes, you can fit 6 people in here. A small child or somebody skinny will fit in the middle, and then somebody else over there, because this does fold up, which exposes the seatbelt buckle for that. These are some of the parts that we didn't get a chance to install. I feel like it weren't needed, so we do have inner and outer tie rods, I believe, and then I think that's one of the old boxes that we did use for a part. But yeah, that's this interior of the vehicle here. The main issue we have inside is, the driver's seat and that center console there, or I should say armrest, because this technically doesn't have a center console. It does have the column shift, which is actually pretty rare to find on a Toyota Avalon. So it does have 6 seats in a way, so you can fit 6 people in here, which is pretty nice. Let's show you guys the engine bay here, where me and my brother spent a lot of time and money. So when I got this car, it didn't have a grill. So the grill was missing. We had to get that from the junkyard. It was involved in a crash, I think, at one point, but the title is still clean. So we ended up getting this grill because it was missing. We ended up getting a new headlight, which is this side right here, because it was broken. You can see here there's signs of a crash. It's nothing major, just a little bend here, but I think it did take out the headlight if I recall correctly. So we did replace that. Also, I saw that there was a lot of leaking oil coming from the timing cover area, so we had to take the timing belt off. We replaced the timing belt, we did the water pump, we replaced the serpentine belts, we also replaced the power steering pump, and we did 4 shocks all around. So it has new shocks all around, new lower control arms, new inner, or I should say outer tie rods, new sway bar links, new CV axles, driver and passenger side, new top mount bushing right here, or I guess mount you should say. I did replace that as well. We put new valve cover gaskets, spark plugs, knock sensor, and I'm pretty sure there's something that I'm forgetting, but you know, the list kind of went on and on and on. And yeah, we spent about a good month working on this car on and off. He had to work and I was busy, so we did put a lot of time in this car, but I'm happy that it's finally done, and it does run and drive really good. Nick can attest to that. He did drive it over here. Drives pretty smooth. I put about 150 miles on it personally, because I was just driving around, and that's kind of what I like to do. I like to drive these vehicles around to make sure they're solid and they're good to go before I sell them. So that's where I'm at with this car. I'm gonna sell it, and like I said, I don't know how much money this car is gonna bring in, but I'm hoping that at least we make our money back, and maybe a little bit wouldn't hurt. But that's the story with this Avalon. Let's talk about the next car, which is right behind Nick here. It's a 2011 Honda Civic. This right here is a Honda Civic, and it's a Honda Civic that somebody has neglected pretty bad, and I'm the sucker that got stuck with it now, because I don't even know if I can make money on this. Well, actually, let's rewind a little bit. I'm pretty sure I'll be able to make my money back, but it's ugly. I wouldn't drive this car. It's in pretty bad shape. The reason that I have this car is because, as you guys know, I have quite a few cars, and I need somewhere to store them. And I have a friend of mine that lets me store my cars there, and I pay him a certain amount of money a month to keep them there. This car right here, I was supposed to look at it and diagnose it and fix it for his cousin, and I ultimately ended up diagnosing it with a bad transmission, and something's going on with the thermostat. It kind of runs cold, if that makes sense. So it does throw a code for the thermostat, and it does have some other codes for the transmission. At the time, I did tell him, hey, there's something going on with the transmission. I can look at it further, but it's going to be a little bit more to diagnose it and go in there and figure out what's going on. They decided to not go down that route, and they offered the car to me. Originally, I think they wanted $1,500 for it, and I was like, I don't even want to buy it. I don't want to deal with it, because when you have a vehicle that is neglected this bad, you kind of don't want to work on it, and that was how I was feeling about this car. It doesn't look like it right now, but when I did get it, it did have a broken window on the rear right here. I'll show you guys. It still kind of has those parts laying around because I haven't had the chance to finish it, but there was tape here covering it up, and you guys can see it's still kind of all apart because I haven't had a chance to put everything back together. So there is broken glass in there, and I did put a new glass, and these are some of the tools that I was using to do that. So this was replaced by me, but you know, I just didn't want to deal with it because I didn't want to go to the junkyard. I didn't want to go look for the part and waste my time on a car that doesn't look nice. So ultimately what ended up happening is he told me, hey, give me $1,300 for it. Or I think he said, give me 14. And I was like, I'll give you $1,350. But like, again, I said, I don't want the car. I didn't want it. So we met at the middle at $1,350, and now it's mine. And yeah, it's ugly. It smells in there. It's dirty. I got to do a lot of work to it still. And at the end of the day, I don't know if I'm going to make money on this car. I mean, it's filthy. It's just something that I personally wouldn't normally take on. So let's take a quick look at the engine bay here. I forget what kind of engine size this is. I think it's a 1.6 or a 1.4. I don't recall. What I do know is it does run good as far as the engine goes, but it does have an issue with the transmission. But I have done some work off camera to the transmission. The only thing I really did was I drained the fluid about two times I should say. Drained it and filled it twice. And the problem that it had with the transmission was it was slipping pretty bad when it got up to operating temperature. And once I did those 2 flushes, it for the most part cleared up. It kind of does it still, but it does it now on a cold start. But as far as it doing it when it's warm, it kind of went away. And the code hasn't came back for the transmission. So I guess I got lucky on it. I was looking at maybe getting the transmission replaced, and I was looking for a new transmission. But at least we don't have to do that. So there's a bright side to things, but you guys can take a look at the outside. I mean, how much would you pay for this car? It has a dent on the hood. It looks like they ran over something or somebody. It looks like whatever they hit the hood, followed over here, hit this pillar up here, has surface rust on it, fell off, dented this up here, fell and hit the door. There's like a little hole there, a dent there, and looks like it fell on the floor. Maybe it hit this corner and then it hit the bumper on the back. And yeah, the damage goes all the way back here. So that's why I'm saying it's kind of neglected and abused. It's pretty spacious for a little Honda Civic, and I'm sure it'll be a good car to somebody that needs a daily car that doesn't really care too much about cosmetic things. But it's going to be a tough one to sell, in my opinion. We don't even have any hubcaps. I feel like if we had some hubcaps, then maybe it'll sell a little better, which I'll probably end up getting. I'll know how to clean it up really good. But aside from that, I don't think I'm going to do much else to this car. I'm not going to spend too much time on it because, you know, as you can see, it hasn't had a good life. And in the trunk, we have a few more things here. The previous owner, like I said, is a friend of mine, so he's going to pick up some of these things before I sell it. But this car hasn't had emissions in quite a while. As you can see here, the last time it was registered, or should have been registered, was in 22. Because of the same problem with the transmission that it had, and it just wouldn't pass emissions. It would throw a code. What I need to do to this vehicle next is I just need to clean it up, like I said, and get that emissions taken care of, and then just give it a good overview, maybe change the oil here and there, and then it'll be posted for sale. I'm not expecting to make a ton of money on this car. Kind of want to just make my money back. But yeah, this is another car that I was kind of hesitating to get, and I kind of, you know, I didn't want to buy it. It was kind of forced on me in a way. I would like to say that that's the end of the cars that were kind of forced on me to buy, but I would be lying. There's one more car that I also didn't want to buy that I would probably not recommend to anybody, and that's back at home. So we're gonna go back home and get that and bring it back here to show you guys what that is. Yeah, I mean, it's just a mess everywhere. So I feel like I'm not exaggerating. Maybe somebody's gonna say I'm exaggerating in the comment section, but if you guys can smell what I smell, you guys would probably agree with me. And you know, look at that dash. That window has been broken for some time now, so there is leaves and who knows what else was living in here. I was telling Nick, did you get some B-roll of the car? And then we panned to this side right here. We missed that. Pretty nice little dent that it has there as well. And over here. So it has been around the corner a few times, I would say. Yeah, even Nick was getting unmotivated looking at this car. He even said, you know, how do I have the energy or motivation, or how do I see the vision of making money with this car? I'm like, well, if you clean it up really good, get some new wheels or get some hubcaps, I'm sure somebody will buy it. It's just might gonna take a while, you know?
Yeah, I don't know.
I wouldn't buy it. Yeah, I personally would not have bought this car. And yeah, everything's a gamble. Who knows? If I lose money, I lose money. If I make money, great. Regardless, I mean, at least we're here for the ride, and we'll see what happens. This, unfortunately, is the next car that I ended up buying Not because I really wanted to buy it, more because the person that sold it to me needed the money, and I was kind of like one of their only options left, so that's why I ended up buying it. I paid $2,600 for this Hyundai Sonata, 2011 Hyundai Sonata. Now, this car has a funny story to it. The person that sold it to me is the person that does my yard, so he's like my landscaping guy. And he bought this car about 2 years ago, but it had been sitting in the back of somebody's house for that time because of the engine. I normally wouldn't recommend these vehicles to people because, in my opinion, they're not reliable. They're junky cars. They're cars that are not going to last a long time. And that's what happened to this car. The engine ended up going bad, and it was just parked there. Now, when he bought it, the car was actually in really good shape, but the damage that you see on it was because of his fault. He ended up doing that to it. So I think he ended up sideswiping something, and the front bumpers, they're attached right now, but they weren't attached when I got it. So I did have to put them back on. If you look closely here, you can see that I kind of just was able to put a wire through that and support it because the tabs on the bumper are broken, and this is the only way to pretty much put it back on. So kind of Mickey Mouse, but if it works, it works. It doesn't look too bad. And that's the same thing over here as well. So this guy was off, and I was able to put that back on. I mean, for the most part, it's kind of hard to tell that it's there. See, that's what happens when you have so many cars. You start losing track of the keys. So this car, what it is, it's a daily driver, if you could even call it that, because they're not reliable. So I guess what is it? It's a car that's cheap and people buy, and it gets you from where you need to get to sometimes because they do break down. These earlier models, 2011 to 2012, I think they all had issues with the engine where they randomly just seize up because of bad design or wear and tear. So this car, you know, it has the engine replaced, or I guess I should say it was rebuilt. Normally when I hear people say, hey, the engine was rebuilt, to me that's a red flag, because in my opinion, for you to rebuild an engine and for you to do it properly, it takes a lot of skill, and not a lot of people can do that. I myself can't rebuild an engine and put it back to spec, you know. I'm sure if I tried, probably could do it, but it takes a lot of practice and knowledge. It's not just putting everything back together. You got to know what you're doing. You got to check the clearances. There's a lot of math and science behind it. And I guess whoever rebuilt this engine did it good, because it's been about 5,000 miles and it's been running good. It has no check engine codes, runs and drives pretty good. It runs and drives straight, which that's kind of surprising to me because, you know, the guy didn't really spend a lot of money fixing it. So let's show you guys here the engine bay and show you guys what we're working with. In my opinion, whoever rebuilt it, they did a really good job, because I can't see any evidence of somebody tearing apart this engine. So if you look at the engine, the RTV looks like it was professionally put back on. It's gray, which is what I like to see. It doesn't look like somebody who has been in that engine, you know? And yeah, everything is where it needs to be. There's no loose bolts. There's no funny things going on. It looks like it hasn't been touched. So props to the guy who rebuilt it, I guess. I like to buy vehicles that are reliable because I like to sell cars to people that are going to be good for many years to come. So this is one of those cars where I'm kind of like on the fence about it, but I'm still going to, you know, clean it up a little bit more and post it up for sale, because that's why I do this. I do it to flip cars and make money, and if I'm not going to make money on it, then what's the point of even trying to flip it, right? So right now, this vehicle, I'll post it up for sale and see what it goes for. But yeah, those are the three vehicles that I was left with that are kind of hoopties. But yeah, guys, those are the three vehicles that I have that I kind of didn't want, but now I own. So definitely stay tuned for more videos to come. I have a few more cars that I need to make videos on, but I'll probably pick the camera up later on this week and see what else we can come up with as far as content goes. If you guys did like what you guys saw, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys all very soon.